We have 3 speakers today for the main program, and if you would join me here on the stage, I'll introduce you. Our first speaker, Evan Henningway, is a Special Olympics athlete. He excels at the butterfly, just so you know. He has received medals at the state championship level, and next year he'll compete, and maybe he'll make the national games and maybe even world games. Evan? And then to my left is Beth Knox, fellow Rotarian. Beth is a major community leader. If you need to know somebody in this town, you just ask her. She most recently was the president and CEO of Seattle's Seafair Festival, and in that job, she recruited the Rock and Roll Marathon to Seattle, as well as saved the 4th of July celebration for the city of Seattle. So she's very well connected and is now the president and CEO of the USA Special Olympics Games coming in 2018. Dave Lennox, next to Beth, is the president and CEO of Special Olympics Washington. Dave comes to Washington State 2 years ago from having worked at the head office with Special Olympics International, an organization that features 150 countries for Special Olympics and 5.3 million athletes. He worked at the head office. There he was involved in youth activities and youth sports. He also ran 2 other state programs before coming here to Seattle. So without further ado, Special Olympics.
Had a little logistics issue there. Okay, so thank you for having us here. I wanted to talk about Special Olympics Washington first because that's who we are. This is something that the games coming here is something that was thought up by someone who doesn't want to be named, who was just up here. So, and it was a great foresight to say, how can we make this program in the state of Washington more visible, more powerful, and just plain bigger? And the way to do that is to bring attention to it. And so Beth had the wisdom to say, yes, we'll start the bid process. Then she promptly exited stage left. And when I came on, one of the first questions that was asked is, are you prepared to continue with that vision? And I said, yes. Yes, I am. It's a great idea. So one of the things, and we're going to talk a lot about it here in just a few minutes, but a couple of things we need to clear up first for those of you. First of all, how many people in the room are familiar with Special Olympics? Yay. So we don't have to go through the whole, we're not Paralympics, nor do we want to be. We're not the regular Olympics. So we don't... So yeah, but intellectual disability is what makes someone eligible for Special Olympics. If they have any other kinds of disabilities, we'll program for them as well. But what makes them eligible is intellectual disability. The goal of our organization, if you put it down into one word, is adrenaline. So just think about it, plain and simple. Remember when you were a kid and someone said, I bet I can beat you to that tree. And you would run, and usually they cheated. They started before they even finished the sentence, right? So, and you run, and you just, and sometimes you'd fall, but it was like, I have got to beat this jerk. I mean, so, well, our athletes never got asked that question. No one ever challenged them and said, I bet I can beat you to that tree. Partly because they either knew they could beat them to the tree, or they just really didn't want to deal with them. They wanted them, they were different. That just wasn't part of who you would challenge. You didn't treat them as equals, certainly. And so that wasn't there. So the goal of Special Olympics is when we do our competition, we're going to give those athletes that adrenaline rush. They're going to know what it is to push yourself as hard as you can for just that little moment in time to see if you can do better than you did the last time or better than that person who challenged you. So with that, I want to show a little video, and I want you to look for the adrenaline.
Changing the world is a contact sport. And when it comes to changing the world, there are no better athletes than the athletes of Special Olympics. Every day around the world, Special Olympics athletes come to the playing fields to learn, to grow, to compete, and to win. The Special Olympics Athlete Oath embodies this spirit. Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. At Special Olympics, we envision a world where everyone belongs, where bravery triumphs, ability emerges, skills grow, laughter invites, The human spirit is unleashed and the world is changed. One volunteer, one fan, one doctor, one teacher, one athlete at a time. Founded by Eunice Kennedy Shriver in 1968, Special Olympics is led by millions of athletes with intellectual disabilities in more than 170 countries, each embodying the beauty of difference. And Special Olympics athletes compete in over 80,000 competitions a year and World, Winter, or Summer Games every 2 years. Special Olympics is an everyday opportunity to make a difference in the world, bringing together people of all abilities to create a world of respect and inclusion. We're a global network of families who share inspiration, hope, and understanding. We're coaches, volunteers, and community builders, reaching out to children and adults who might otherwise be forgotten in some of the most remote parts of the world. And though sports is our engine, Special Olympics is so much more. We're changing the world in many different ways and in many different arenas. We're Special Olympics Healthy Athletes, the world's largest public health organization for people with intellectual disabilities. We're Special Olympics Healthy Communities, changing how governments, businesses, and policymakers address the unmet health needs of adults and children with intellectual disabilities. We're Special Olympics Unified Sports, helping to build relationships and understanding between people with and without intellectual disabilities. We're Special Olympics Young Athletes, unlocking the power of sports for the youngest children, ages 2 to 7, and their families. We're athlete leaders, trained and empowered, demanding respect and leading by example all around the world. Through the power and joy of sports, Special Olympics is revealing the champions in all of us. Come play with us. Together, we will change the world through sport.
So if you think back to probably your first experience with Special Olympics, it was probably a really sweet experience. You know, oh, isn't that cute? The little kids running around. And they're pretending they're at the Olympics. And that's what when we started, that was the best we thought we could hope for. But then over time, our organization has morphed. We started as an organization for people with intellectual disability that happened to do sports. That was our vehicle. Then we realized, wait a minute, our athletes actually have a lot of potential in the sport area. They actually can learn and do and be really involved in the sport at sometimes a fairly high level. So then we became a sports organization whose athletes just happened to have intellectual disability. And then we were recognized by national governing bodies, international sport federations, and the International Olympic Committee. Then though we listened to our athletes again, and the athletes said, what we want is inclusion in the community. We want people to see us not as a charity case. We don't want your pity. We want to be full, active, contributing members of every community in the world. And for that to happen, attitudes are going to have to change. So Special Olympics is no longer your grandmother's Special Olympics. I tell it to Tim Shriver all the time, and I say, it's not your mother's Special Olympics. He's like, don't say that. But we have changed. We're a social change organization that uses the power of sport and the people that have intellectual disability who have the wisdom to teach us how to live in a world the way we should live in it, treating each other with dignity and respect. And that can only really be done when you're teaching people from a young age and you do unified things where people are coming together one-on-one. So we have a new strategic plan at Special Olympics Washington, and we have 4 pillars. The first is community, that we want to be involved in every community. We want to, of course, use sport. That's our second one. And we're worried about the overall wellness of our athletes and their families, not just how well they can run the 100-meter dash, but are they physically fit? Are we dealing with the fact that in the past few years, 70% of our athletes were obese? So we have to address that. We're no longer running away from it. We're no longer pretending we're something that we're not. We are about taking care of the people that live in our communities and having our athletes serve as the example and the leaders to help communities change and be what they should be. So, and then finally, our 4th one is, you guessed it, inclusion. Because it only happens when we all come together, but we have to come together recognizing each other's wisdom. So our goal for Special Olympics Washington is to become the premier organization in the state of Washington and certainly in Seattle for two things. One, for sports, because if you want to know about sports, we can teach you how to coach and we can teach you how to play, and you don't have to have intellectual disability to be able to benefit from our resources. So we want to be the premier sports resource in this community. We also want to be the premier resource for parents and for athletes that have intellectual disabilities. So they know where to go. We can help them find the doctor who knows how to talk to them. We can help them find employment people who will help them and be able to get a job. Interestingly, 50% of our athletes are employed. 10% of the population in the United States with intellectual disability is employed. So that's the difference sports makes. So Beth comes up with the idea, how can we make this grow? How can we make these visions come true? We need this community to see our athletes. We need to help them to see their abilities. We need to see some of the challenges, but we also need the world to see Seattle. They need to see a community that understands inclusion and the value of inclusion. And they need to see, we're really proud of this legacy that this city has built up over time. We're proud of the corporate and business community that is not afraid to put their name out front and say, we believe in these people. So a population that's been ignored for all this time, and now we have corporations standing up saying, yeah, no, we believe in them. They're worth investing. So it's not a pity thing, it's an investment. So that's a really cool thing, and we want the rest of the world to see that. So that'll be a big part of the games coming here. Of course, we want to grow our program. So as the games come, we're going to invite everyone to volunteer. We'll slide you in our stuff before the games even if you want. Special deal just for Rotary. But certainly as people come to the games and they realize the magic and the power of our athletes, we assume that they're going to want to stay. So that'll help us grow our volunteer base. We want to go from the 14,000 athletes that we have now to 30,000 athletes. So, and even that, there are 170,000 who are eligible for Special Olympics in the state of Washington. Where are they? Why are people still holding them back and keeping them at home, not bringing them out to this kind of a program? We need to find them. We need to help them understand and enjoy all that life has to offer them. So, of course, sponsors will come to the games. We hope they stay with us here in Washington. So all of that growth coming together. So we've got a lot of pride in the fact that we won the games. We've got a huge, huge pride in the team that's running it that you're going to hear about. I think you'll be excited. And we're excited for our athletes to be able to welcome the rest of the United States to see what a beautiful place it is that we live and what a great community this is that embraces our athletes. So my final word would be to you that, yeah, you'll see all this wonderful stuff about the games, and the games are great, and of course you're going to come and you're going to cheer for all of them, but remember the home team. This time, I forget how many, Beth, do you remember how many we sent to the USA Games in New Jersey? I think it was like 20, max, yeah. So this time, Team Washington will be 300 athletes strong because we're the home team. So you will have plenty of opportunity to get out and wave some flags and be cheering for the home team as we take on the rest of the United States for these games. So with that, I will turn it over to Evan.
Hi, my name is Evan Henninger. Thanks for inviting us to come. I am 17 years old and will be a senior at Ferndale High School in the fall. I am a Special Olympics athlete and compete in basketball, softball, and swimming. Swimming is my favorite. I am also a barrister for Special Olympics. My dad and I did the barrister training last summer at the University of Washington and learned how to give speeches until a little about Special Olympics. This is my first speech. I am excited that the National Special Olympics competition coming to Seattle next year. I hope to compete, give me 100 meter free, or 100 meter butterfly, maybe the 200 meter, 400 meter, or 800 meter freestyle. It would be fun to meet our athletes from around the United States. I would like to get better in my event so that I could get a medal. I hope you can get involved in the Special Olympics. You could be a coach or a coach's assistant. You could volunteer to help at a regional, state, or national competition. It is exciting. Or you can spend some time with a Special Olympics athlete. What are you waiting for? We're a lot of fun. And thanks for the lunch getting inviting us.
Thank you, Evan. Nicely done. So you can see why, after nearly 30 years in the event business, that the opportunity to produce the USA Games using the power and joy of sports to transform lives, not just the lives of someone like Evan, but everyone else who participates and supports it. What an honor for me, and I could not pass that up. So we have a really great event planned for the 2018 USA Games. We have for me, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to have 2 years. It's a luxury to have 2 years to plan this event. Although we did start last year. I had a team a couple of folks that came ahead of me, and I started in November. And now we have very quickly pulled together a number of elements, and I just want to share some of those aspects here. So July 1 through 6, 2018 is when the games will be here. And this is an opportunity to bring a premier national competition to the Seattle area. These are games, of course, for the athletes, but it's also an opportunity for the coaches and their families to see the fruition of all of their hard work and the training that they put in throughout the year. So this is our logo for the 2018 USA Games. We used the local design firm Publicis to help us create this logo. One of my favorite stories about it is that they opened it up to anyone on their design team to participate. And they said, if you want to participate and throw in a design to get the creative juices going, we'd love to have you participate. Every single one of their 16 plus designers participated because they were that passionate about it. But this was the mark that we settled on. It is inspired by the iconic torch, the water around Seattle, as well as the sweat and tears of joy from the athletes, volunteers, families, and fans. Now, the colors represent the water and landscape of the Pacific Northwest. The fluid movement of the overall shape shows the athleticism and energy. The layers overlap, rising upward and working together, which show unity inspired by the games. So our tagline is Rise With Us. And this is a challenge to ourselves and the world to redefine labels and celebrate what makes us all unique. To not just meet expectations, but to go beyond them. Not just every 4 years, but every day, in every city, in every state, and every continent. Together, we are challenging the world to truly live and play unified. So with that, we have the games coming forward. We'll have 3,500 athletes that will be coming to the Seattle region, and they are coming from every state in the country. We'll have 1,000 coaches and state delegates that will be joining them. We're going to need 10,000 volunteers to produce these games. And those athletes will be bringing another 10,000 family members and visitors and fans to cheer them on while they're here. And all told, from the opening ceremonies through all of the competitions to the closing ceremonies, we'll have well over 50,000 spectators that will be participating and enjoying the event. We'll have 16 different sports that the athletes will be competing in, from aquatics, athletics, baseball, basketball, bocce, bowling, flag football, golf, gymnastics, kayaking, powerlifting, soccer, softball, tennis, triathlon, and volleyball. Those are our sports. We'll have a couple of exhibition sports that are unique to this region, and we thought it was very fitting to choose stand-up paddleboarding and sailing for the Seattle region to showcase all that we have here. Now, we're going to use a number of world-class facilities here in this region. The athletes and their coaches will all be housed at the University of Washington, and about half of the sports will take place in the UW venues. They have some amazing facilities that these athletes will be able to compete in. But we'll also be using some other venues around the region, including Seattle University, the King County Aquatic Center, the Federal Way, Celebration Park, Kenmore Lanes, and Willows Run golf course. So this will give not only a chance to compete in these great venues, but a chance for those venues to bring out their neighbors and residents and employees to support the athletes. In addition to the competitions, as Dave mentioned and you saw in the video, we have a lot of special programs that are part of the USA Games. Many of you know of the Law Enforcement Torch Run. This event is completely handled by law enforcement, and these officers will be paired with athletes bringing the torch to the state of Washington. They'll be running through various locations here in the state and ultimately bringing the flame of hope to the cauldron at the opening ceremonies. We'll have a very big welcome day at SeaTac Airport, where we will encourage people to come down to the arrivals hall and welcome the athletes as they arrive on June 30th. And then, of course, we'll move into opening ceremonies, which will take place at University of Washington Huskies Stadium. And the opening ceremonies will be spectacular. We'll have entertainment. We'll be recognizing the 50th anniversary of Special Olympics that will take place in 2018. And of course, we'll have the famous parade of athletes coming into the stadium. Throughout the week, we will have our Olympic Town, which is for the athletes. It's an opportunity for them to blow off some steam in between competitions and make sure that they are staying focused on and enjoying themselves while they're here in Seattle in between the competitions. Then we'll also have a fan zone that will be for the spectators and the visitors as well as the athletes, and that'll be located outside Husky Stadium where they will be able to enjoy activities and entertainment as they are en route to the various competitions throughout the week. Dave mentioned the healthy athletes and healthy communities. This is an important part of the games, and it allows not only for us to have connections with the athletes during the games and make sure that they have all that they need to be successful, whether it is something to help with their vision or their hearing or the right shoes fitted for their feet, but it's also a chance to educate and train our local medical professionals here in how to do those screenings, how to best give the care to our athletes given their needs. And we will be investing into the medical community here to make sure that there is a legacy beyond after the games. The Young Athletes Program, something you don't want to miss. This is for our youngest of athletes, ages 2 to 7. And it's not only from the standpoint that these individuals are developing skills based on using their the motor skills, developing their mental skills as well, but it's a resource for the parents and an opportunity for families with kids that have intellectual disabilities and those without to come together and have that inclusive environment. And then, of course, the Unified Sports Experience is the same thing where we have athletes with and without intellectual disabilities playing together, competing together, and creating that environment that is so important for us. I mentioned the 10,000 volunteers. We'll have needs for coaches, the competition logistics, on-campus support, greeters, fans in the stands where you come and cheer on the athletes. And then you'll also have a chance to sign up to participate in these Unified Sports Experience. It's going to be absolutely tremendous. ESPN is our official broadcast partner, and they will be bringing national awareness to the region. Very exciting to have them be so committed to Special Olympics. And then, of course, this is going to bring significant tourism to the region, a lot of impact on our hotels, restaurants, and area businesses that will bring positive economic impact. So, and kind of wrapping this up, really it's about the legacy, and it is about building that inclusive community that we talked about. Not only transforming the lives, of course, for the athletes and everyone around them, but creating that compassionate, inclusive community that we all want to see here. And it's exciting to me to be able to build on what we have already here in Seattle and take that to the next level. So we are partnering with a number of corporations who are already demonstrating this leadership in inclusive communities. Microsoft and Starbucks are just two to name right off the top who are really leading the charge in that inclusive and accessible environment. Microsoft has developed programs that are interviewing, hiring, training individuals with autism and bringing them into the workforce. They are developing technology that is accessible to all. Starbucks is committed, is very passionate about having this inclusive environment for all of their employees. And I am really looking forward to the businesses that have already stepped forward to say, we want to showcase our business and be welcoming and inclusive as well. How can we participate? So that's something that just plays into how we build this city of inclusion. It takes all of us. So we're really excited about the opportunities to grow that. As I said, we're transforming lives. That's the bottom line here, and you can't beat that. So to close here, I hope that you will rise with us. It's an exciting time as we prepare for the 2018 Games. And if you are interested in more information, you can go to our website, SpecialOlympicsUSAGames.org, and sign up as a volunteer or to be part of our organization. Thank you so much.
All right, we've got plenty of time for good questions. So actually, if Evan and Dave don't mind returning to the stage, Evan, I'd like you to teach me how to do the butterfly stroke, because I heard you're amazing at it. So,
any questions?
Question right here from...
I have a granddaughter who was born 18 months ago and diagnosed as a Down's child. And I wonder, at this point, you wouldn't ever know a more delightful 18-month-old baby. What should her parents be doing to find opportunities in her condition and as she ages to be qualified?
That's what we aim to be. So, first, just contact us. We can go through the website, sowa.org. We'll get you there, and we can connect them to other families that are in the same situation. We talked about the Young Athletes Program. supposed to start at 2, we cheat. We can start that as well. The main thing that they need to do in home is play. Just keep playing. Don't be afraid, because most families, when a child is born, that way, with any kind of disability, it's like, oh gosh, am I going to hurt them? Just play. We can help connect to physicians that know how to ask the right questions and know what to look for in milestones and all that stuff. That health promotion, and Special Olympics is the largest healthcare provider for people with intellectual disability in the world. The World Health Organization calls us to find out what's going on. So we can connect them, and we've got a network of families. We call it the Family Support Network. And we can put them in touch with other families who have been in the same boat, have been down this path, and we'll be able to help them kind of get through it all. It's interesting, though, the importance of play, integrated play. So we have the Young Athletes Program, 8 weeks of programming. When we did a test, the children that were in that program that had intellectual disability gained 9 months of motor development in 8 weeks because it was structured play. Kids that were normally developing, 6 months of motor development because it was structured play and it was inclusive with people with disabilities. They had to slow down and help their friends. And that caused that kind of improvement. So they've got lots to look forward to.
President Sue, question over here from Pete.
So July is a crowded time in Seattle. Maybe you could describe some of the challenges of putting together an event like this when you've got cruise ships and conventions and all kinds of other stuff going on here.
Well, that's a great question, Pete. Actually, that first week of July, however, first of all, is the lowest capacity at the University of Washington. So they are able to manage all of those 3,500 athletes plus the 1,000 coaches. So that was a critical decision in when could UW accommodate the athletes. But certainly, there's not a time in the summer when it's not busy here in Seattle. It's one of our favorite things about it on one hand. So it gives the the visitors and families lots of activities for them to do while they're here. But we will be managing the transportation plan with a lot of detail. We had individuals that went down to the World Games in LA to observe and learn from that. So we're going to apply those learnings here. Having all of the athletes and half of the sports at UW also really minimizes the impact on the region. So some of you may recall that when the Goodwill Games were here, there was a lot of media hype. Don't go downtown, it's gonna be crazy, you won't be able to get anywhere. I don't see that at all happening. It's normal congestion in downtown Seattle that we're already used to. And you will still be able to get where you need to go. Having the light rail station at UW is gonna dramatically improve that as well.
Thank you very much. Evan, when did you start to swim, and why do you love swimming so much?
When I was very, very young, I think. 9. Like 9.
And why do you like it so much?
Because it keeps me going, I'm getting in shape and get fit.
This is softball for any of you. We're a very international club, international region. I'm just thinking about Seattle branding itself in sync with this fabulous event. Is this something we should be trying to promote outside of the U.S. as well, to come and observe or participate in some way? It sounds like it's primarily a domestic focus.
Yeah, it will extend an invitation to all the world to come, and certainly as they have to us. So, I know certainly along the Asia Pacific region, they will want to come and see, because they want to see what we're doing to expand. And with programs in 170 countries, we've got we've got a lot of reach that we can do. So yeah, I would expect that we will see some international Special Olympics people coming saying we want to see how the games are done. They'll be studying in an observers program. Also, people that are bidding to host the next games will be here as well. So yeah, and the Rotary has been, historically a huge sponsor. So it's been great to see in every community. In my former life, working on the international level, it was rare that I went to a country where I was working on Special Olympics that I didn't run into Rotarians. so they're probably there. It'll be really cool to see send-off parties from all around the country, that are coming. You send those athletes off to here and send it from Rotary to Rotary. We're fine.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Beth Wojcik, for setting this program up. Thank you, Beth Knox, for taking this on. When I heard Beth was retiring from the Seafair, I knew she wouldn't last retired very long. And Dave and Evan, thank you so much for being here, and the work you do is amazing. I am most creative between the hours of 2 and 3 a.m. At first, it annoyed me to lay awake, until I discovered that if I let the ideas come and capture them, I could drift back to sleep. The ideas have proven to be more vital than the hours of sleep. A few nights ago, I dreamt I found an entirely new room in my home. This was thrilling. I live in a one-room loft. The space had the most beautiful perspectives and light. I was overwhelmed by my good fortune. I awoke with my senses and my creativity brimming. Our year together has fostered a new room, flush with possibility. Significant endeavors breed expanse. I cannot wait to see what we become. See you next week.